Have you ever heard of the one time an African nation went head-to-head with a European colonial power in the 19th century and won? Not just won, but utterly crushed them. This isn't some alternate history fantasy. This is the incredible true story of the Battle of Adwa. In the late 1800s, Europe was in a frenzy, carving up the African continent in what became known as the Scramble for Africa. Nearly every nation was falling under colonial rule, but one kingdom stood defiant. Ethiopia, Italy, hungry for its own piece of the colonial pie, set its sights on this ancient land. They underestimated their opponent, and that would be their greatest mistake. On March 1st, 1896, the hills surrounding the town of Adwa in northern Ethiopia became the stage for one of history's most stunning military upsets. On one side, you had about 17,000 Italian soldiers, confident, armed with modern European weaponry, and led by generals who looked down on their African adversaries. On the other side, an Ethiopian force that was massive by comparison, numbering somewhere between 73,000 and 100,000 strong. This wasn't just a random militia. This was a national army, rallied by their charismatic leader, Emperor Menelik II. Emperor Menelik II was a brilliant strategist and a unifying figure. He had spent years modernizing his army, acquiring contemporary firearms from various European sources. He played the diplomatic game masterfully, but when diplomacy failed and Italy invaded, he called upon his people to defend their homeland. And they answered. From every corner of the empire, warriors gathered, united by a common cause, to protect their freedom. We also can't forget the crucial role of Empress Tetubedel, Menelik's wife. She was a formidable political and military advisor, known for her sharp intellect and staunch anti-colonial stance. She commanded her own contingent of soldiers and was instrumental in the strategic planning that led to the victory. She wasn't just a queen, she was a commander. The battle itself was a masterclass in strategy. The Italians, overconfident and with poor maps, marched into a series of complex valleys and ambushes. The Ethiopian forces, who knew the terrain like the back of their hand, used this to their full advantage. They surrounded the divided Italian columns and launched a devastating attack. The fighting was fierce and brutal. By the end of the day, the Italian army was annihilated. Over 6,000 Italian soldiers were killed, and thousands more were captured. It was a humiliation of epic proportions for Italy, and a moment of pure triumph for Ethiopia. The consequences were immediate and profound. The Battle of Adwa ended the First Italo-Ethiopian War. Italy was forced to sign the Treaty of Addis Ababa, formally recognizing Ethiopia as a fully independent and sovereign nation. Think about that. At the peak of European colonialism, an African nation had defeated a European army and forced them to acknowledge its independence. Ethiopia became a beacon of hope, the only African nation to successfully resist European colonization during that era. The victory at Adwa sent shockwaves across the globe. For other African nations struggling under colonial rule, it was a powerful symbol that resistance was possible. It inspired anti-colonial movements and became a cornerstone of Pan-African identity. Leaders and activists, from the Caribbean to the United States, looked to Ethiopia as a symbol of black pride and independence. Even today, the Battle of Adwa is celebrated as a national holiday in Ethiopia, a yearly reminder of their strength, unity, and unwavering spirit of freedom. It's a story that proves that courage, unity, and brilliant leadership can overcome even the most daunting odds. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story as inspiring as I do, please hit that like button, subscribe for more incredible stories from history, and let me know in the comments what you think. See you in the next video.